Hi, I'm Mandy Kaser. I'm part of the Holistic Health Level 3 class in fall of 2014 under Joanna Yarmany's class. I am currently schooling to obtain my Holistic Health Professional Associate's degree, and I plan to obtain any certification I can along the way as well in the meantime. Moving on, I'm also a mother and a wife, and I'm a huge animal lover with huge passions for herbology, herbalism, herbs in general, as well as pretty much any and all holistic and traditional Chinese modalities as well. I, from my past, was an addict, and that's why this herbology during addiction recovery process study drew me in the most. Let alone me, I've also experienced the process and seen how herbs helped others through it as well in my past. I chose 6 subjects within 50-mile vicinity, and I made sure to have equal amount of females and males, and I even made sure to have various like addictions as well. So like 2 of them were alcoholics, a couple of them were pills or cocaine or heroin, and also different ages from the earlier 20s into senior citizen age as well. Moving onward, I also did this, let's see, I started these studies on October 7th to October 9th were my start dates. I did 2 study subjects per day, basically, and so that meant like the very end, last of all this would have ended on the 30th of October. It was the very last day of the, last 3 weeks there. And now moving onward, basically my whole hypothesis to this was, in hopes, I guess I should say, my hope was to make the relapse issues less occurring to the point where they could actually go through the whole addiction recovery process without any relapses, possibly. That was my main goal and objective to this. Secondary goal was to make the recovery process easier on them all. So the first 2 study subjects that I went with for my first day were a Rachel and an Ashley. And oh yeah, I should mention, I did not release any last names in this study by the request. The fact that they're actually in addiction recovery, that's a big part of it anyways. So obviously, since my whole thing is to keep my study subjects as comfortable as possible, of course I would follow along with that. There's not really any need to have last names anyways. Anyways, my first 2 were a Rachel and an Ashley. Rachel was, I think, 31, and Ashley, I don't remember her exact age. I want to say she was early 20s, maybe 26 at the oldest. Now Rachel had basically an issue with alcoholism, but she's already came a long way, so she was a great source for me to use. Basically, my first 2 clients wound up being the only ones out of all 6 that were actually what I consider successes for this study, which is herbology during addiction recovery process. I should mention, although herbology is the main focus in this study, I also made sure to use other modalities of holistic health as well. After all, I believe in balance, and for balance, you kind of got to have the whole mix: nutrition, exercise, herbs, and it's all got to be in balance. So that's why. Rachel was a mother to 2 sons, and Ashley actually was a single female, and she considered herself to be a free spirit. Ashley had issues with cocaine and pretty much any drug she could get her hand on, so she was kind of considered a cross addict as well. Rachel, as already mentioned, was more of an alcoholic. Her choice was wine, basically. With Rachel, I chose to keep her on her raw food diet. I chose to reduce her red meat intake. I increased various vegetable and fruit colors daily as a request for her, and as far as exercise plan, to continue on with the regimen, which was yoga and running, basically just add an extra day or two weekly if time allows, and then running like a mile. For stress reduction was more meditations, focal point imagery, and deep breathing. Now the urban supplement plan I had for it was great. It was adding 500 milligrams of maca. Now maca powder, it looks like this. And it can also come in a capsule form as well, which is what I actually mentioned. Now if it comes in powder form, you can easily just add it in a smoothie most of the time. Otherwise, you can make capsules with them. And these are 500 milligram caps that I actually make myself. Add a capsulator, veggie caps, and a little mini scale. So it's all perfect. Moving on with that. So, oops, sorry, I just lost your notes here. Add 500 milligrams of maca, and then also add 500 milligrams of Chandra berry as well. And this was to help her maintain her balances. As far as Ashley was concerned now, herbs I suggested for her was the use of aromatherapy inhalers. Quit smoking, which is one of the things she wanted me to focus on for her. So that was this one. The purple ones were my quit smoking inhalers, and the white ones were for the calm or stress factors. And so she used two of the inhalers. Then another suggestion was to add 1 tablespoon of Hawaiian spirulina to daily smoothies or juices, and to take a chlorella liquid extract cap twice daily, and organic dandelion root tea twice daily as well. And that actually helps to cleanse her liver in particular, as well as her kidneys and other organs as well. And as far as her nutrition plan, make morning time breakfast style raw smoothies or juices, begin a raw plant diet as soon as possible, and drink about 3 liters of water a day. And actually I increased that to 3 to 4 when I met her. Start a simple, easy, beginner level yoga workout, which is what we went over and I included at the end of this presentation as well. Walk approximately 1 mile every day, you miss a yoga session, and she should do yoga about 3 times a week to start with. Stress reduction was to go to a body of water and let the water absorb any stresses or aggravations. She could also do Om meditation while alone there, and enter complete silence before the Oming, which will help. And then moving on to my second day, I dealt with a Dustin and a Philip. And a Dustin, he was in his mid-30s, and he has been an off-and-on addict of all sorts for a very, very long time. He actually has agoraphobia, which I actually once had a little bit of, and I worked myself out of thanks to natural modalities and herbs. Now, as far as Dustin goes, what we did for him is his nutritional plan was morning green, local, and organic fresh produce juices, less junk foods, more raw veggies and fruits, and 4 liters of pure water daily. His exercise plan was to run 1 to 3 times weekly, Tai Chi, gym workout 3 times weekly, if not running. Stress reduction was to be one with the wilderness and outdoors, because he loves being outdoors. He's to meditate outdoors, ground and center himself beforehand, and even gardening or journaling could have also helped him, because he also likes being dirty. And the dirt likes to grow things, he says. As far as the urban supplement plan, instead of introducing an herb to this type of reoccurring relapse addictive personality, I actually suggested a raw daily vitamin probiotic omega oil instead. And I also suggested, which I guess could be considered an herb, but it's actually a tea too, organic dandelion root 2 times daily too for detoxification as well. And moving on to Philip, he was the senior I had, and he actually had diabetes, and I think he had high blood pressure, and was on insulin and Lasix. This was definitely a person I was not feeling comfortable actually suggesting any herbs to. So what I did say is, because of the meds he was currently taking for such serious health concerns, I opted to not suggest any. Instead, we'll choose to help him through a more mental and physical way through exercise and meditation or relaxation techniques instead for his safety. Stress reduction plans were great for him, and he was actually very comical. He was a great study subject. He wanted to go fishing or hunting for non-red meat, camp out in the wilderness, walk a mile or more as he could, up to 3 times weekly, and to even do a little focal point meditation on, whatever floats his boat on his focal point. His exercise plan was to walk 3 times weekly and to use his elliptical machine on days he didn't get to walk. Nutritional plan was a big change for him. Obviously, to rid all red meats, and obviously the big one is sugars. He still ate sugars even though he's taking insulin. Eat more fish, yes, with the omegas and fresh foods and produce. Eat less processed foods daily. That was another really big important one for him. Then to drink water with lemon in it, up to 4 liters daily, if at all possible. I mentioned the lemon because the lemon just has so many great constituents and properties in it for blood cleansing and balancing, you name it. And Philip, he had the issue of letting go to pharmaceuticals. He was on a lot of pain and anxiety medications, which I've experienced as well, so I understood. But at his age, it's hard to let go of that stuff once you've been on it for so long for things that he has. And fortunately, he wasn't one that stayed with me either, as much as I really thought he was gonna. Most of these people, it was about the second week, and they just kind of dipped out on me. So moving on. My first subject on my third day was Jennifer. She had the scariest story ever. I don't have enough time to go into it here, but feel free to read this to find out more about it. It's the craziness that happens when you're on heroin when you least expect it. And she does have a child. Unfortunately, as much as I wanted her to work for this, I actually shed a tear when I found out she just up and left the state. Didn't tell me nothing. Probably found out through a parent of hers. Anyways, moving on. She originally came to me because she wanted help quitting smoking and to improve herself all around. She's been in the process of recovery since off and on for years now, actually. Nutritional plan we came up with was to improve her diet, more raw and unprocessed foods, make early morning breakfast green smoothies, since she had an issue with energy in the morning, and exercise plan was to keep up with the gym workouts that she started to do and or yoga 3 times weekly. Perhaps find time to run with a detox process as well. Stress reduction plan was wilderness hikes or city-town walks and runs, and she loved water and the beach, so beach focal point meditation. You go, girl. And herb and supplement plan was to continue use of multivitamins and a raw or natural source, of course. And remove the 500 milligram ibuprofen and replace it with 500 milligrams to 1,000 milligrams depending on the need, dosage of cramp bark, which I just so happen to have right here as well. She could also have used white willow bark as well, though. One of my most upsetting ones, he just straight up screamed at me on the phone and everything. You know, he came to me to decrease stress and learn to relax more. So the plan we worked out for him was to start with early morning ginger lemon tea, eat more fiber and more raw foods, to jog, join martial arts, to ride BMX again, play hand percussion or guitar, or play with the dogs, or attempt meditation for stress reduction, and start replacing Tylenol PM with something that's melatonin. Meditate, perform relaxation, and if that fails, try valerian root. As mentioned, my conclusion, depending on the addiction recovery subject's willingness to want to get better and succeed, and perhaps how long they've even been in the rehabilitation process, has an effect on the final research study analysis and results. Did I find my study a total success? Not exactly, considering only 2 out of 6 what I considered were successes. I do look forward to doing more studies focused in this, but I have learned through this process, all the study, that I need to pinpoint things more down and not make it so vague. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this. Namaste.